What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Roll the Mind Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Moyer. Hope you're doing well whenever you are listening to this one. Boy, what a weekend of racing it was at Darlington Raceway. Those campers sure got their money's worth. Truck race was pretty spectacular. The Orion Series race was a lot of great storylines from that one with Justin Allgaier getting the win. Kyle Larson's best car, bad pit stop, loses the race because of that. And then the Cup race, so much. Um, People, drivers were saying this was going to be a crazy race. They were saying this is going to be the most out of control I've ever driven a Cup car in all my years of racing. That was what Chris Buescher said. And I think it didn't live up to the craziness, but it sure lived up to the fact that this was going to be an incredible race. And it was. I think it was a banger, especially for your true stock car racing fans. But let's talk about our winner. Tyler Reddick gets the win. His fourth win of the season. Guess what, guys? There's only been 6 races, and Reddick has won 4 of them. Just so dominant. He won the first 3, took 2 weeks off, and came back. And a track like Darlington, where he's been really, really good, really close at with his 45 team, just things haven't gone his way. Couldn't put it all together. But this one, even with all the issues they had with the alternator, some electrical issues, Reddick had to turn off a lot of the things that keep him cool. He was really freaking hot. They put a bigger battery in. Looks like that kind of fixed it. I also saw that he had issues with his brake pedal at one time in stage 2, I think I saw. But all those things, when they got that 45 figured out all around, there was no one stopping that 45. That thing was a freaking rocket ship on wheels. I mean, he passed Brian Keselowski for the win with 20 to go. And I mean, when he passed him, And it was there was no side by side battle. It was just kaboom. Just lights out compared to the field. Definitely made the racing, I guess, maybe better. This may have been a freaking dominant, way more dominant performance if Reddick didn't have all those issues and it's starting to back the pack. But what 24/11 is doing, what they're bringing out of that race shop, the team is executing, the pit crew is executing, keeping Reddick up front when they're up front. And Reddick right now has a 95-point lead over second place Ryan Blaney. That's just insane. So right now, Reddick is showing that they are the team to beat. Now the great question will be, can they sustain this? Right? Can they continue to sustain this? Right now, there's no sign of them slowing down. They're going to be going to some good tracks coming up here. Martinsville is one of those tracks where he's never been the best at, but then Bristol's a track he's good at, running that wall. And then we have Kansas coming up there too. So we have some tracks that the 45 can continue to show their dominance. Great to see Michael Jordan in the crowd. I love seeing his passion. I know that NASCAR can kind of milk the whole Michael Jordan stuff too much, but when his team's winning all the time, why not show Michael Jordan? Why not show Michael Jordan celebrating? It's great for the sport. It's great publicity. I also saw Toyota is the first team since 2007 to win the first 5 out of 6 races. Chevrolet did it in 2007. So Toyota, yeah, they're also showing they have the speed. Jugos Racing, 2011. Yeah, they ain't playing around this year so far. But like I said, can they sustain that speed? Can they continue to continue to win races? We will see. Now we talk about this race overall. Key moments from each stage. We want to talk about those. Brian Keselowski won stage 1. But that also could have been because of the 45 team. They had a slow pit stop. They led the first half of stage 1. Had a slow stop, lost by 8 spots, was able to still rebound and finish second. Ryan Blaney's short pit the first stop. What short pitting means, you come in, you're one of the first cars to pit, so you're out there on track. You're one of the first cars on newer tires, so you're able to gain on guys that choose to run long on older tires. It was smart. I think at the time Blaney was 5th. He ended up finishing 3rd, so got a couple extra points because of that for where he finished. So that was massive. It was a really straightforward stage 1, and it was big for Brad. I mean, one of his first stage wins. I don't know when the last time he won a stage win. That was big for him. But that's when then we heard the issues with the 45, having some alternator issues, electrical issues. We heard, low voltage. His AC wasn't working. His helmet fan wasn't working. I think his cool suit at once was not working. At one point during this race, he was trying to suck the water out of his cool suit because, we learn when the cool suit isn't working and it's not pumping that cool air, the water in there heats up and just kind of burns you. Like we've heard, guys get seriously burned because of it. They end up, I think at the start of stage 2, they ended up putting a bigger battery in there and hopefully fixing that. I don't know exactly if it was fully fixed. Of course, it didn't matter because Reddick did go on to win the race. But then also later in stage 2 too, I think it was stage 2, he was talking about his brake was, was hard. It was difficult to brake. It was just not, the way the way he was using the brake was not, it didn't feel right to him. But like I said again, it didn't matter. I don't, I would assume they got whatever they needed to figure out. Because usually when you lose voltage, I mean, that can affect, you lose power to the car. I mean, that's big. So I think there was still a worry about something like that could affect their race, which it did. It definitely made this race maybe more competitive than it would have been if Reddick, like I said, was able to stay up front and not have all those issues. Also, in stage 2, Ryan Blaney, after finishing third in stage 1, their first pit stop of the day, he had another loose wheel leaving pit road. Their team radioed to him to go into the 2 pit box. We've seen that before. They tightened it up. He had to start the back end for pitting outside the box. I'll tell you right now, guys, I learned that the 12 team, look, that team is a championship caliber team. But their pit crew was ranked 33rd. Team Penske has a 33rd ranked pit crew. You can't have that, man. They gotta get that stuff figured out, bro. Because when it gets into crunch time, when you're out there in the chase, those spots are going to be valuable, man. And they are valuable right now. Luckily, it didn't really hurt Blaney that much. He still had a really good day that we'll talk about. But you cannot have that. Also, Bubba Wallace had a slow pit stop to start stage 2. Lost a lot of spots there. And then that affected um, Bubba Wallace because we restarted. The 5 took the lead to start stage 2. But then on lap 111, we had our first crash for natural cause. The 11 got in the back of the 43. The 11 was saying how the 43 checked up, really, really was checking up slow in that turn 3. Got in the back. The 43 went for a spin, but then Denning also got into the wall too. And then Bo Wallace ran in the back of the 11, and that caused damage to the 23. Had some suspension damage, it sounded like. The wheel was cocked at 2 o'clock, he said, which isn't normal. Bubba Wallace finished outside the top 30, or finished in outside the top 30 because of that. So a good day. He was in the top 3 to start the race. He qualified second, and because of that, because of a bad pit stop, starting in the back, even though it's not typical for Denny Hamlin to start in the back, Bubba Wallace got in someone else's mess and ended his day, and that's got to be frustrating. I do feel like it's got to be frustrating for Bubba Wallace, especially now seeing your teammate who's winning all these races, and you have a fast enough car to be competitive, but your team is making mistakes and putting you in bad situations, which really stinks. But you still have to have some confidence knowing that you are having some fast race cars come to the racetrack for yourself to go out there and compete with. That was the main thing in stage 2. But I loved seeing on lap 129, RFK was 1, 2, 3. They ran a great Biffle tribute. All 3 schemes were Biffle throwback schemes. Really cool there. We saw a great battle though for stage 2 win. Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher may have moved to the bottom there on the final turn. Brad had the highlight, had the momentum, cleared Buescher, and got stage 2. Brad Keselowski won both stages. Last time he's done that, it's been a while, like I said. And then stage 3, the most important time. It's when it's time to make it happen. Pit stops happen. On that 194, it was the start of stage 3, the final stage. Brad took the lead from the 17. And then on lap 195, here came Chase Briscoe. Cleared Keselowski for the lead. I'm like, oh my gosh, is Chase Briscoe the car to beat? Is he faster than the 6? Oh my. But then, about a lap later, I believe, with 97 laps to go, the 88 of Connor Zilisch got into the back of the 35 of Riley Herbst. And the 35 went for a spin in the inside wall. Was able to slow it down enough, but he did make some front end damage. And we know when you have any little bit of front end damage, That's going to affect the aero on these cars. And the 35 at one point in this race was in the top 10. Not exactly sure where he was when this crash happened. It was just after pit stops. The 88 did say it was they apologized. They said they were sorry to the 35 team, but then Riley Herbst was on the radio and told the 88 team to go F themselves. I really do think it's funny that that term is so overused, the go F themselves, but it is funny, I guess, when someone uses it. But look, yeah, for the 35 team, there's a lot of talk about Riley, not performing, and this is a race that I think if it played out, he could have had a top 10, because all the 2311 cars are fast, and he was showing that third car is pretty fast as well, but luckily, or sadly, I should say, I should not say luckily, sadly, he didn't get to see this race through. So that really stinks for him, probably. Definitely stinks for him. I'm not sure why I'm saying probably or luckily. I'm using the worst terminology possible when describing some of these guys. I'm talking a little too fast for my own good, I think. Now, moving on. This is where we had a little bit of interesting pit strategy decision. Buescher, Ty Gibbs, Daniel Schwartz, Shane Van Gisbergen, Austin Dillon, and Michael McDowell. They all chose to stay out. At this time, they were only 10 laps in on these set of tires. They chose to stay out. And then, your Briscoes, your Keselowskis, your Byrons, your Larsons, your Reddicks, your Cindricks, your Bushes, your Priests, your Elliott, and Bell, they all chose to pit. Briscoe won the race on pit road. Keselowski lost a couple spots through that pit cycle. That was a big thing. That was something like, oh man, is that going to hurt Keselowski's day to have a chance to, compete for this win? Which he didn't. And this is where it got kind of interesting, watching some of the guys like Keselowski and Briscoe and Reddick trying to maneuver their way through cars that were on older tires-ish with their better cars. I had it tracked. With 91 laps to go, Chris Buescher took the lead in the restart because he got out there. He got out there to a good couple second lead. So this is how I had it on my notes. 67 laps to go. The 6 takes third from the 19. Ended up past the 19, where we thought the 19 was better than the 6. The 6 showed that he was better than the 19. And then here came a lap later, on lap 66, not lap 66, I should say, with 66 laps to go. Excuse me. The 45 past the 19 for fourth. And then 64 to go. The 6 takes second from the 54. And then 63 to go. The 45 takes third from the 54. Kind of the 45 is kind of following the 6 at this time. And then they had pit stops. We saw the 54 to go. The 5 and the 20 pitted. 53 to go. The 12 and 19 pitted. And at that same time, we saw a contact with the 45 and the 17. The 17 was trying to pit. But he didn't have his hand out. He was trying to do a sneak pit. Because I guess you never want to let anyone know what you're doing. He was in that racing groove, and the 45 was just behind him, and he didn't know, and he ran right in the back of him, and the 17 got sideways. Was able to save it, but then he lost all the momentum there. Had to go run a whole other lap to get back to pit road. And I guess Buescher was not even mad at Reddick. It's just one of those things where they were, I guess, gambling, and their gambling didn't work out. They were trying to gamble and hit pit road so no one knew, and it didn't work out. I don't know, man, if gambling was a good idea, because they definitely hurt their ability to finish top 3 today. They were a top 3 car. They probably were going to finish third if they didn't make that mistake or try to be sneaky with not telling anyone that they were pitting. I know Scott Graves, the 17 crew chief, was mad about the 45 running him over, but if the 17 is not telling anyone that he's coming to pit road and he's in the racing groove, he was above the yellow line slowing down, what do you want the 45 to do? The 45 has no idea. So, but still, they still salvaged a good day. They still finished top 10. But that was a big incident. Luckily, they did not pull out a caution. Now, there has been history between the 45 and the 17, where the 45 in 2024 made contact with 17 doing a slide job. They both made contact, ended their days, and that's what allowed the 6 to go on to win the race. But that was big. Um, and then with 48 laps to go, the 45 finally chose the pit. And I believe on my notes, the 45 was 10th, and he was about 38 seconds back from Keselowski. And I believe he made that in time. I believe that's accurate. The 45 ran long, and he had a tire advantage over Keselowski, the leader. And I mean, it was just 10th after 10th that 45 was shaving off the leader. He would make passes so easily, and some cars really weren't going to fight him. Like Chase Briscoe, I think, was running second at the time, and when 45 got there, he did not even try. And really, he couldn't. The 45 was so much faster. And then just slowly um, reeled in Keselowski. And then with 28 laps to go, the 45 passes Keselowski for the lead. And then finishes that race off. We end up seeing the 5 made contact with the wall. He was running 11, had a pit, had a toe link bent. That was a big changing moment. The 11 goes from finishing 11th to now finishing, I think, like they were running 29th. Let's check there. We also saw him the 19 made contact with the wall. He was slow, so there was almost a possibility that maybe he had a late race caution, and that would have really changed it up. But we didn't. Reddick gets the win. Final restart was 91 laps to go. At that time, Ryan Blaney gained 17 spots from that time. Keselowski gained 9. Reddick gained 9. Carson Hocevar gained 12 spots. We'll talk about him because what a race he had for him. Now we go to our finishing orders. Lots to talk about here where some of these guys finished. So Tyler Reddick won the race. Second was Brad Keselowski. Third was Ryan Blaney. Fourth was Carson Hocevar. Fifth was Austin Cindric. Sixth, Ty Gibbs. Seventh, Daniel Suarez. Eighth, William Byron. Ninth, Chris Buescher. 10th, Eric Jones. 11th, Denny Hamlin. 12th, Chase Briscoe. 13th, Ryan Preece. 14th, Shane Van Gisbergen. And 15th, Chase Elliott. Man, Brad Keselowski, you can't ask for much more. He wasn't the fastest car. He won both stages, though, maximized his points, led the most laps. That's a great day. There's all this talk about, I've seen stuff on social media that Brad should retire. They'll see one bad run from him, and they'll think, and some people think he's going to retire soon. People, and Brad said in many interviews that he plans to race for many, many years. And they proved that Brad Keselowski had a track that is named the place too tough to tame, that he still has all the skill set, all the ability to go and do that. It just so happens to be that his car was not what the 45 was. But that is an incredible day for him. And then Ryan Blaney, like we talked about, had a really super slow pit stop in stage 2, but still rebounded from that and finishes third. It's what he does. When he has a good car, he's always able to recover from a pit road mistake. Carson Hocevar started last, excuse me. He started last in this race and finishes 4th, man. So he passed 31 cars officially today. He technically, I think, passed probably maybe more than that. But he gained, he was up 31 spots. The final restart was 91 laps ago, and Carson passed 12 cars in 91 laps through pit stop cycles. Yeah. 7th was Daniel Suarez. What a day. Daniel Suarez outran all of his former Trackhouse teammates. I know there's been a lot of talk about that with the little run-in that he had with Ross Chastain at Las Vegas. Ross, I think, literally told Daniel Suarez to his face, "You got 5," and they had an altercation. I think Ross was talking about how accountability-wise, Daniel Suarez was not a good person accountability-wise for the team. I know Julia Piquet, Daniel Suarez's wife, has said that, in a recent tweet when they were at Phoenix, that it feels good not to be left behind. It feels good to have someone give you attention. And so I'm very much paraphrasing that, but it doesn't seem like Trackhouse gave Suarez some of the best opportunity there last year to be the best. And Suarez is showing when you give him the stuff, he can go out there and give you a top 10 at a place like Darlington. Super, super impressive. William Byron had a very meh day. I think he said they're still figuring out that Chevrolet body. Not typical for him. This is a place he's won at. but still, top 10, can't ask for it much more there. Chris Buescher, another guy, right? We talked about him. Finishes ninth, but if he doesn't get ran over there by the 45 because he was trying to pit without letting the 45 know I'm pitting, maybe he comes home with a top 5 or a top 3. Who knows? Eric Jones, good rebound there, like we talked about. Denny Hamlin, he was at one point in the top 5 in stage 2, but then just maybe didn't have the speed. I don't know, pit stop speed wise, not exactly sure, but still, 11th place finish for number 11. Ryan Preece, 13th. Great run for him. Hey, Shane Van Gisbergen. Can't ask for much more. Top 15. Good run for him. I want to go back. I want to keep going here. Kyle Larson, best finish on a non-super speedway, finishing 18th. Good run there. 19th, Christopher Bell. I know he hit the wall in the race there, so probably hurt him there. Kyle Busch, 21st. Zane Smith, 22nd. Justin Allgaier in that number 48 for Hendrick, finishing 24th. And then where do I want to get to the guy I want to talk about? Kyle Larson finished 32nd. He hit the wall late in the race there. He hit the wall. He full out hit the wall. It was his fault, but I think got a flat tire, bent the toe link. I feel like, guys, we are not talking about Kyle Larson enough. Kyle Larson hasn't won a race since May. That's freaking crazy. This is a guy that's considered the best driver in NASCAR, the best NASCAR driver. He's also considered one of the best drivers in the world, and this guy hasn't won a race in NASCAR, in the NASCAR Cup Series, since May. I feel like the championship allowed us to overlook the way he's running. He's super, super consistent, that's why he was in the position to be in that Final Four, to take advantage of that late race caution, to capitalize on the championship. But I saw that Larson last year had an average finish ever since his last win. He has an average finish of 14.3. In 2024, where he had 6 wins, he had an average finish of 12.9. A little bit better average finish. A little bit better. To me, Larson's not technically running bad, but for Larson standards, where is the dominance? He has lost all his dominance. I know they have a new Chevy body, and they're still figuring that one out. But still, he didn't win a race since May of last year. So what the freak happened? I know he had a lot of people want to blame, the Memorial Day double where he crashes in IndyCar, he crashes in the Coke Center. That was a mess, and a lot of that bad momentum carried on through the rest of that year. And then he started figuring it out there near the playoffs. But he hasn't won a freaking race, and I feel like no one, like I said, is talking about it. What's going on with Larson? Look, he has some good tracks coming. Martinsville is not the track where he's most known to be dominant, but Bristol, he's literally dominated Bristol last year. If he doesn't come in that race and at least run top 3, I'm going to scratch my head a little bit. What's going on there? Because I think that championship really allowed us to not really think of Larson as someone that's struggling. Because he's consistent, but he's not winning. What is going on? I'm confused. And look, Larson made a freaking mistake. He hit the wall. He was running 11th and hit the freaking wall. That was his fault. Now also, he has some of the worst luck at Darlington, though. I think I saw his average finish in the last, and I think his average finish in the spring Darlington race is 31st place. So he's also really bad, or just he gets wrecked a lot. He crashes a lot in this race. So maybe it's just more of a Darlington thing. But I don't think it's a Darlington thing because, like I talked about, he hasn't won a freaking race since May. I'm just shocked. I'm just really shocked why that team has not figured out how to put a full race together. Where's the dominance from him? Just shocked by that. Joey Logano finishing 33rd. What the freak happened to Joey Logano? He was just flat out slow. Flat out slow. Compared to his teammates, Blaney finishes 3rd, and Austin Cindric finishes 5th. What the world happened to Joey Logano? What's happening? Of course, if all 3 of your teammates don't have it, That makes sense. But both his teammates had it, and he didn't have it. Just rare. I'm surprised to see him miss it, or their team miss it so bad. All right, we go and look at the point standings now when it comes to the Cup Series stuff. So Reddick has a 95-point lead over Ryan Blaney. That's massive. Now it's only race 6. A lot can change, of course, but that's just insane. But all those extra bonus points from winning races is so important. So then Blaney is in second, has a 95 points back. Bubba Wallace is in third in the points, 120 points back. Denny Hamlin's fourth in the points, 122 points back. Fifth is Chase Elliott, 131 points back. Sixth is William Byron, 134 points back. Chris Buescher is 137 points back in seventh. Eighth, Christopher Bell is 143 points back in eighth. Brad Keselowski, ninth, 143 points back as well, so I guess he's tied for eighth. 10th, Larson, minus 149 points back. Ty Gibbs is 11th, 152 points back. 12th, Ryan Preece, 171 points back. Carson Ozavar in the top 16, 174 points back. 14th, Daniel Suarez, 175. And then 15th, Shane Van Gisbergen, 185 points back from Tyler Reddick. Remember that. And then Joey Logano is actually tied with Michael McDowell, both 186 points back. They're actually tied for 16th place. And then when it comes to how many points someone is back from 16th spot, which is the last spot in the playoffs, so Michael McDowell is tied with Joey Logano for 16th place. Allmendinger is minus 15th. Zane Smith is minus 16. Ross Chesney is minus 24. Austin Cindric is minus 30. Chase Briscoe is minus 31 points back from 16th. Kyle Busch is 33 points back from 16th. Eric Jones is minus 36 points back. John Hunter Nemechek is minus 38 points back. Austin Dillon is minus 46 points back. Riley Harris is minus 51 points back. Ty Dillon is minus 53 points back. Noah Gragson is minus 55 points back. Ty Gillen is minus 57 points back. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is minus 59 points back. Josh Berry is 63 points back. Kyle Zilch is 70 points back. Cole Custer is 78 points back. Cody Ware is 86 points back. And Alex Bowman is last in the full season point standings and full time driver point standings. He's 116 points back just from 16th, but he's been out for a couple races. Went through the whole list of points. I enjoy looking at the points. I love that we're caring so much about the points so early. It's so nice, so refreshing. So this Cup race overall, 16 lead changes, 8 drivers led laps. Keselowski led the most laps, 142 laps. Reddick led 77 laps. Chris Buescher led the third most laps, 41 laps. And then Larson led the fourth most laps, 20. There were only 4 cautions. 2 were for the stage breaks and 2 for natural causes. We thought this race was going to be a bit crazier. You know, the drivers were really hyping it up. We did hear no post-race that these cars were so hard to drive, so out of control. They were so on edge probably, but these drivers are so good that they're able just to weather the storm. And they really have to showcase their skills, especially at places like Darlington, where tire wear such a big importance. I would love to see what they do with this package. If they go into a mile and a half, what that would look like. This horsepower too. I would love to see them put more horsepower, continue to work on the tire. This was a really good race. You didn't hear much about the dirty air. It felt like when you were faster, you could pass each other. Beautiful thing to see. Berlani said, like, hey, I would, let guys go by on the restart, and then I knew I would catch him back later. Like, he's not used to doing that with his car. So that was a refreshing thing for Blaney to be able to do it. And he's one of the, a skill set that was lost with his car. So that's great to hear. Really good race. I'm excited to see, what NASCAR continues to do. If they do choose to use this package more than just Darlington, because Darlington will be the biggest track they use it at 1.3. Now Dover will probably be a track, is a faster track that they could be using it at, higher speeds, higher banking. That will be interesting how that plays out, but we'll see that at the All-Star race. But overall, really good and I think it was a really successful Cup Series race. Lots of good storylines. Now, let's highlight the lower series races. That truck race, Corey Hine went from ninth to first in 2 laps. He put on some scuffed tires there in one of those cautions. And then he got to second on the final lap. I mean, he was hauling the mail. And then the final 3 and 4, Ross Chastain chose to run up towards the wall, and he gave the bottom all to Corey Haim. And Corey Haim kind of dive-bombed it and then just drove up and cleared Ross. And Ross couldn't keep the momentum and get back side by side at least. And Corey Haim goes on to win. Corey Haim gets his first win in the season. He's running a part-time schedule. He's not running full-time anywhere. He's currently 8th in the points. He was really good, and that was a smart strategy called by that team for Tricon Garage. Corey Haim is showing, even in a part-time season, he's still that guy. Just won the championship last year. Surprisingly, doesn't have a full-time ride anywhere, but he has a lot of talent. And look, man, if Tricon could find a sponsor for the guy, he could probably join in full-time season with the trucks. And even being 8th in points, he could, with how good he is, he could probably go win a couple more races here, and he could go and compete for the championship. It's wild. Good race, insane race. We saw Hostvar up there. Of course, Ross Chastain up there. I think Hostvar was leading with Ross on him. He blew a tire. Hostvar blew a tire with 4 to go. Top 15 was Haim first, second Ross Chastain, third Chris Sheckis, fourth Kane Honeycutt, fifth Kyle Mozak, sixth Christopher Bell, seventh Grant Finger, eighth Giovanni Ruggiero, ninth Daniel Hemrick, 10th William Swalch, 11th A. John Dinger, 12th Lane Riggs, 13th Tanner Gray, 14th Timmy Hill, and 15th Justin Haley. Great to see Christian Eckes come home with a stage win. Was really competitive, finished third. A guy who was so dominant in 2024 with this team was over in the O'Reilly Series last year with Calling Racing. That team shut down. Now he had to go find a new place to drive, so he's finding a ride with Bill McIntyre Racing, and this is a really good finish for him. This is something he needed. He was really struggling to start the year. This could hopefully be some good momentum for him this season. Kane Honeycutt was mad. He finishes fourth, but he was mad about the way that Ross Chastain and Carson Hostvar, the drivers, were racing him. Just racing with less respect, just running him over, making contact with him. I didn't see anything. I know there was some contact there, I think, between Hostvar and Restart. But I also felt like Kane Honeycutt was, with how fast his truck was, he led the most laps in the race, I believe. 59 laps. But I felt on restarts he was not as aggressive, and he lost some spots on restarts. Now, also, he had a really good truck, so he felt like maybe he can get him back. But I feel like he just needed to be more aggressive because he got passed on a restart. Hostvar was right behind him and just dived on him below, right past finish, right past the start-finish line, and he got swallowed up. I think he needs to be a little bit better on those restarts, especially as he continues to go through this year. This is his first big opportunity in the Truck Series, driving a championship caliber truck with a really good crew chief. I think he'll get better. He'll learn, but I don't like that he's blaming the Cup Series guys. I think he needs to do a better job of taking accountability. I don't think the Cup Series guys are the reason he lost this race, personally. And I feel like to him, if he feels like there's a lack of respect not being there, then he needs to, give that back. If he feels like they're roughing him up, show it back to him. Use him up. I don't mean in a dirty way, but you can't, you can't just let him give it to you. You got to give a little bit back to him, I feel like. But I'm not a race car driver. But I don't like him blaming the Cup guys. I didn't see anything. I just think the Cup guys are racing hard, going for a win. And I think, in a way, maybe the Cup guys are taking advantage of these young guys like him. We'll see how that, transitions through the year, if it continues to be a big thing for him. But yeah, like I talked about, Kane Honeycutt led the most laps, 59 laps. Ross Chastain led 35 laps in the race. Corey Hahn led 28 laps in the race. Carson Hostvar led 16 laps in the race. 14 lane changes, 9 cautions for 47 laps. I really enjoy Kevin Harvick Ryan Blaney and Joe Logano, they're all in the booth. I really enjoyed them. Their commentary is very, very good because they're out there. They know what it's like to be out there on that track. Maybe not as familiar with the trucks, but they know kind of what is going on because they're out there every weekend. Now Kevin Harvick hasn't raced in NASCAR since 2023, but he still drives, and I think he's actually a good play-by-play person personally for me over Jamie Little. That's just my opinion. Now the O'Reilly Series race. Carson, oh shoot, not Carson. Sometimes you just say something a little too fast. You gotta slow yourself down. Kyle Larson won both stages, the most dominant car, led 107 laps, but late in this race, had a pit stop here right before 15 to go, and Larson lost 4 spots because of the pit crew, and then he was never able to get back in position on the restart. Allgaier cleared the 20 of Brendan Jones, and then Allgaier led the final 15 laps, and Larson never got back up there. So Larson, the best car in the race, better than the 7, lost the race because his pit crew couldn't keep him up front. And I know you're usually making changes to your car to help you wherever you are on the track. So maybe his car was set up for a long run with clean air. Well, he didn't get that. His car kind of fell off a little bit there, and just wasn't able. He restarted fourth and stayed fourth. So kind of surprising, but it's a good run for Brandon Jones. A big win for Justin Allgaier. This is Justin Allgaier's second win of the season, but 30th win in the NASCAR O'Reilly Series. 30 wins at age 39. Really, really cool for him. I bet a guy that's still able to do it at this level. Big win for him. He's a guy he's first he's the points leader too. So this is a points format that's going to benefit him. A guy who's going to win a lot of races and be consistent. So good for him. So second was Brandon Jones. Third was Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell was really good, top 5 guy, but never was able to challenge for the lead, which was a little bit surprising with that car. Fourth, Kyle Larson. Fifth, Carson Wapple. Sixth, Corey Day. Good run for Corey Day. We talk about the negative side of some of the stuff he does, but he's continuing to put together a top 10 days, I should say. Seventh, Sheldon Creed. Eighth, Parker Retzlaff. My gosh. Now, a lot of people are talking about Parker Retzlaff, and yeah, in a Viking Motorsports car, that guy, yeah, he's talented. He's bounced around with some teams. He was with Jordan Anderson Racing not too long ago, a couple years ago, and then he was with Alpha Prime last year, and now with this Viking Motorsports team, man. If he gets a good opportunity, he is going to be a guy that can win races. Like if he gets an opportunity with Junior Motorsports, I know funding is going to be important to him to get those opportunities, but if he can get it with a really good team, watch out for him. He's young too and really freaking talented. 9th, Sammy Smith. 10th, Sam Mayer. 11th, Jesse Love. 12th, Anthony Alfredo. Another guy, Anthony Alfredo, was in the top 10 at once. Good solid day for him. Really, really impressive as well. Another Viking Motorsports driver. 13th, Ryan Sieg. 14th, Ross Chastain. And 15th, Taylor Gray. There was 6 lead changes and 4 drivers led laps. Larson led the most at 107, and Justin Allgaier led the second most laps in 31, and Brandon Jones led 8 laps. 3 cautions for 25 laps. That was a race. O'Reilly and Cup heading to Martinsville next week, and then the trucks are off, and then they'll be in Rockingham for Easter weekend. That'll be fun, as long as the O'Reilly Series will be too. Well, with that, speaking of Martinsville, I will be in Martinsville this weekend, my first at track covering of the season. I am excited. I cannot wait to drive down there to Martinsville, get a hotel room, and be at the track, feel the energy, feel the noise. I loved. I was very nervous going to the races last year. It was all new to me, and I'm still gonna be nervous. But I feel a little more confident when it comes to asking questions, all that kind of stuff. People at NASCAR are familiar with me. People in that media center kind of know who I am. That's not like a newbie out there, right? I haven't made any connections within the garage. I know people because they follow me on Rolling By them, so I might cross by them and say what's up. So that's really, really cool. But if it's all thanks to people that follow Rolling By them, hit the follow button, hit the like button. That's really why I get to do what I get to do. I have a big enough following that NASCAR finds me worthy of a media credential. These are hard to get. They don't just let flies in. Okay, I was denied at Daytona. So I try my best to do a good enough job of covering the sport and good quality content, so I can be looked at as a guy that is worthy of covering their sport. And if it's all thanks to people that, like I said, watch my content. So thank you. If it wasn't for you, I don't get to do these things. So it means the absolute world. Cannot wait for Martinsville. Hope you guys are able to have a good weekend. And stay tuned to my short form content. I hope to get some good short form content from this podcast. I haven't done a good job of that. Out. And I'll see you at Martinsville, baby. Let's roll. Goodbye.